So we were talking about Subbu. Subbu had the ability to look cheerful at all times, even after having had a hand in a unsuccessful movie. He always had work for somebody. He could never do things on his own. But his sense of loyalty made him identify himself with his principal completely. Here, principal refers to his job, his main concern, his boss, and turn his entire creativity to his principal's advantage for the benefit of his boss. He was tailor made for films, and he was similar to Taylor. Taylor is actually the small scene, short scenes of a movie, not the whole movie. Here was a man who could be inspired when commanded. So this is an important line. Inspired when commanded means feels happy when commanded. So Subbu was of that kind who liked to be commanded, and he was always ready to serve. And then we have here a scene of movie. The rat fights the tigress underwater and kills her, but takes pity on the cubs and tends them lovingly. So this is one situation, one scene, and the producers would say, I don't know how to do the scene, and Subbu would come out with 4 ways of the rat pouring affection on its victim's offspring. So Subbu was always ready with alternatives, and suppose that the alternative given by him is not liked, good, but I'm not sure it is effective enough, the producer would say, and in a minute Subbu, he would not be disappointed, he would always come with 14 more alternatives. Means he was full of new ideas. Filmmaking must have been and was so easy with a man like Subbu. So he was just like an asset. He has made his work in such a way that filmmaking had been an easy task in his presence. And if there was a man who gave direction and definition to Gemini Studios during its golden years, it was definitely Subbu. Subbu had a separate identity as a poet, and though he was certainly capable of more complex and higher forms means roles, he deliberately chose to address his poetry to the masses. Masses means people, many people. His success in films overshadowed and dwarfed his literary achievements. But the way he was doing movies, and he was an asset to movie making, so his literary achievements were dwarfed, were made short, or so his critics felt. Or maybe it is not right, but the critics felt that the literary achievements he had was not as good as his success in films. He composed several truly original story poems in folk refrain. Refrain means song. So folk songs and diction, and also wrote a sprawling novel, and he had written a remarkable novel, Thillana Mohanambal, with dozens of very deftly etched. Deftly etched means deeply carved, properly written characters. He quite successfully recreated the mood and manner of the Devadasis of the early 20th century. He was an amazing actor also. He never aspired, he never desired to the lead roles, but whatever subsidiary small roles he played in any of the films, he performed better than the supposed main players. Subbu had a genuine love for anyone he came across, and his house was a permanent residence for dozens of near and far relations and acquaintances. So this line shows that he was a very loving person and he liked people, his relatives. They also come to his house. It seemed against Subbu's nature to be even conscious that he was feeling and supporting so many of them. But it was his nature that he never thought even about feeling of supporting to anyone. It was a very common thing for him. Such a charitable and improvident man. He was. And yet he had enemies. So this one is exclamatory, surprising that such a man who had so many people to whom he loved, he too had some enemies. Was it because he seemed so close and intimate with the boss? So here we can say one reason can be he was very close to the boss and that's why people were jealous of him. Or was it his general demeanor that resembled a sycophant? Sycophant means a person who tries to please someone in order to gain a personal advantage. So because of his behavior, people thought that he is a sycophant, he is serving his boss just for some favor. This was the reason that he had enemies. Or his readiness to say nice things about everything. And there are some pessimist people who don't like positive things. So maybe this was the reason, because he was always ready to say nice things about everything. Anyway, in any case, there was this man in the makeup department who would wish the direst things for Subbu. So direst means most critical. You saw Subbu always with the boss, but in the attendance roles. He was grouped under a department. So though he was always with the boss, but he was not very close to him. He was grouped under a department. The department was the story department, comprising a lawyer and an assembly of writers and poets. The lawyer was always officially known as the legal advisor. So we have one more character here, the lawyer, but everybody referred to him as the opposite. An extremely talented actress, and there is one more character who was also extremely temperamental, means her mood was changing frequently, once blew over on the sets. So one day what happened, she was disappointed and she got angry. While everyone stood stunned, the lawyer quietly switched on the recording equipment. So the anger when she was showing, at that time no one else gave any reaction, but the lawyer, he was very cunning. He switched on the recording equipment so that he can record whatever she was shouting. When the actress paused for breath, the lawyer said to her, "1 minute please," and played back the recording. There was nothing incriminating, means blaming, or unmentionably offensive about the actress act against the producer, but when she heard her voice again through the sound equipment, she was struck dumb. A girl from the countryside, she had never gone through all the stages of worldly experience that generally precede a position of importance and sophistication. So precede means follow any position, and sophistication means she was not expertise that she had found herself catapulted into, means she was shot into such situation, means she was not experienced, and that's why when she heard her voice that somebody has recorded, she was very much surprised. She never quite recovered from the terror she felt that day. That was the end of a brief and brilliant acting career while every other member of the department wore a kind of uniform khadi dhoti with a slightly oversized and clumsily tailored white khadi shirt, the legal advisor wore pants and a tie and sometimes a coat that looked like a coat of mail. So here the writer wants to say that the normal uniform of the department was khadi dhoti and oversized, clumsily tailored. Clumsily means lacking grace, it's not graceful, and the legal advisor, he wore differently. He wore differently like pant, tie, coat. Coat of mail, MAIL. Coat of mail here refers to protective covering for the wearer's whole body. That is called as coat of mail. Often he looked alone and helpless, a man of cold logic, in a crowd of dreamers. So the poets, the writers, these are creative people, dreamers, and among them someone who worked always with some logic, and that logic is also cold. Cold means without having human feelings. A neutral man in an assembly of Gandhiites and Khadiites. So these people who are wearing Gandhi's Khadi uniform, he was totally different from them. Like so many of those who were close to the boss, he was allowed to produce a film, and though a lot of raw stock and pancake were used on it, not much came of the film. So the movie made by him was not successful, and one day the boss closed down the story department, and this was perhaps the only instance in all human history where because of poets the lawyer has lost his job. The poets were asked to go home and the lawyer lost his job. Here we have some questions. Why was the office boy frustrated? Who did he show his anger on? So if you remember, office boy, actually these are those people who have come with big dreams but they could not get job accordingly, and that's why they started working as an office boy. So that's why he was frustrated, and he was showing anger on the writer as he thought that he is the only person who is doing nothing in his cubicle. Who was Subbu's principal? Subbu's principal here refers to Subbu's boss, S.S. Vasan. Subbu is described as a many-sided genius. List 4 of his special abilities. So you have gone through many specialties of this man. He was very talented, he was very patient, he was having very good relationship with others. So like this you have many things you can write here. Why was the legal advisor referred to as the opposite by others? And there are many things, many reasons, like he has only spoiled the career of that actress. He was legal advisor but his works were of illegal advisor. His dressing sense was also different. He was wearing coat pant. What made the lawyer stand out from the others at Gemini Studios? So here the only reason you can write that he was looking totally different, and while the others were creative, he was the only man of cold logic. Okay. Gemini Studios was the favorite haunt of poets like S.D.S. Yogier, a freedom fighter and a rational poet. Sangu Subramaniam, Krishna Sastri, and Harindranath Chattopadhyay, a poet and a playwright. It had an excellent mess which supplied good coffee at all times of the day and for most part of the night. So Gemini Studios was a haunt, means visiting place for these poets, and mess here refers to dining room. It had an excellent mess, means excellent dining room where good coffee was available all time and for most part of the night also. Those were the days when Congress rule meant prohibition. So here prohibition refers to drinking alcohol. Means in those days Congress has imposed not to drink alcohol, and meeting over a cup of coffee was rather satisfying entertainment, and that's why the meetings were often over a cup of coffee. Barring. Barring means leaving. Barring the office boys and a couple of clerks, everybody else at the studios radiated laser. So except the office boys, everybody else, they radiated, they spread laser, means comfort, a prerequisite for poetry. Means for writing poetry we need some leisure time, some free time. So except the office boys, the others creative people, they used to come there for some leisure. Most of them wore khadi and worshipped Gandhiji, but beyond that they had not the faintest appreciation for political thought. Means though they were wearing Gandhi's dress, khadi, and worshipped him, but they were not interested in political thoughts. Naturally, they were all averse to the term communism, and that's why they were opposing communism. Communism means socialism. A communist was a godless mart, means one who is not fearing God. He had not filial or conjugal love. He has not filial or conjugal love. He had no compunction, means regret. Filial or conjugal means love for his daughter, love for son, or even thinking about marriage. So communist was supposed to be a man who is not fearing God, and he has no feelings for his relatives. He had no compunction, he had no regret about killing his own parents or his children. He was always out to cause and spread unrest and violence. So these people were always reason of spreading unrest and violence among innocent and ignorant people. Such notions, such thoughts which prevailed everywhere else in South India at that time also naturally floated about widely among the khadi clad poets of Gemini Studios. So the similar evidence of it was soon forthcoming. Forthcoming here means to appear, and it here refers to communism, which was spreading everywhere. When Frank Buckman's Morale Rearmament Army, some 200 strong, visited Madras sometime in 1952, they could not have found a warmer host in India than the Gemini Studios. So Gemini Studios, where the creative people were living and they have no interest in political things, politics. Some 200 strong means here number of the members of army are referred, and this rearmament army was actually that mobilization. So they visited Madras. They could not have found, means they were welcomed warmly in India at Gemini Studios. Someone called the group an international circus. They were not very good on the trapeze. It's a kind of exercising equipment, and their acquaintance with animals was only at the dinner table. Means like animals are used for dinner eating. So here it is not referring to circus, because circus is somewhere the people enjoy, but here these people were connected with animals only at the dinner table. But they presented two plays in a most professional manner. Their Jotham Valley and the Forgotten Factor ran several shows in Madras, and along with the other citizens of the city, the Gemini family of 600 saw the plays over and over again. Here I would like to inform you, my dear students, that Moral Rearmament Army (MRA) is also called as Buckmanism or Oxford Group. It was established in 1878. Till 1961 it worked. It is also called as revivalistic movement, spiritual life. Buckman hoped that the world would avoid war if individuals experienced a moral and spiritual awakening. Communism refers to ideological, social, political movement to create a stateless, classless society. So in this way, Frank Buckman's army was welcomed in Madras, and that also in Gemini Studio. So I was talking about the animals which are only a part of dinner, and people were not interested in circus. But then also two plays were presented in a very professional manner, Jotham Valley and Forgotten Factor. The message of the plays were usually plain and simple homilies. Homilies means speech. But the sets and costumes were first rate. Madras and the Tamil drama community were terribly impressed, and for some years almost all Tamil plays had a scene of sunrise and sunset in the manner of Jotham Valley with a bare stage. Bare means clear stage, open stage, a white background curtain and a tune played on the flute. So this was the significance of those two plays, Jotham Valley and the Forgotten Factor, that there was a curtain in which there was scene of sunrise and sunset, and it was so popular in those days, that tune playing on the flute, that almost everywhere the same thing was used widely. It was so popular in those days. It was some years later that I learned that the MRA was a kind of counter movement to international communism, and the big bosses of Madras like Mr. Watson simply played into their hands. So author here says that he could not realize at that time that MRA was a counter movement, means against international communism, and these people, they used people like Mr. Watson, and unknowingly big bosses like Mr. Watson simply played into their hands. I am not sure, however, that this was indeed the case, for the unchangeable aspects of these big bosses and their enterprises remain the same. The author here says that he is not sure that this was indeed in this case also, but that was happening. MRA or no MRA, international communism or no international communism, the author is not sure about it. The staff of Gemini Studios had a nice time hosting 200 people of all hues and sizes of at least 20 nationalities. So at that time, Gemini Studio, the people of Gemini Studios, the artists, the others, they hosted, welcomed around 200 people who were from different countries. It was such a change from the usual collection of crowd players waiting to be slapped with thick layers of makeup by the office boy in the makeup department. So like earlier in makeup department, crowd was given makeup and thick layer of makeup was pasted. Similarly now they were welcoming around 200 people of different nationalities, but this time they were not doing their makeup, but they are hosting, they are welcoming them.